Hey, good morning. Tuesday, June 30th. A little retro edit here, but welcome to the world of chaos. You know how in college classes, there's the 100 course, the 200 courses, right? Entry level, and working your way up to the 400 level, and masters is like 800 level. This is not a 100 level class. All right, so we were at my sister Debbie's after all of the fun we had on Monday, and we actually had the morning to breathe a little bit. I did some laundry, and we just were kind of just breathing, waiting for Providence Powerhouse Power Sports to be able to get back to us. They called us at 11, and they let us know the machine is ready, which is just unbelievable. So once we got that phone call, then we started to figure out plans, including how to get all of the machines back in the water, both machines back in the water, to a point where we are in good shape, because that, again, is going to be a lot of chaos. One of the options on the table was actually to go ahead and put the waters in the ski Tuesday. I'm sorry, put the skis in the water Tuesday, that day, and go up to the sandbar where we camped the night before, or 2 nights before, and stay the night there so that we can run them down to New Orleans. It was just, that would give us the most daylight hours for running from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. And so, as you'll see, it all unfolds. All right, class, let's go for some logistics. We'll call it 301, I don't know. But we knew that the trailer that we borrowed, it needed to have the hubs greased. They were almost dry. And so we loaded at my sister's house, we loaded the car with the fuel rack and some other things, and we went to Walmart to go get a grease gun. Nope, they didn't have it. They did have an SD card that Amy bought, separate issue. Her Garmin unit on her Sea-Doo was giving her fits and ended up needing to replace her SD card and load all of her maps again. Separate issue. So then we drove to Harbor Freight here, and on our way to Providence Powerhouse, where my ski is at over here in Denham Springs. So we spent about an hour here putting my ski back together with the fuel rack and all the things that I took off it, or a good number of them. So at that point, we were still hopeful that we could get my ski back in the water here, get Amy's ski back in the water here, go upstream and go stay at our camp ground about 35 miles north of Baton Rouge, so that we could then ride all the way down. One of the things was that I really wanted to make sure that my machine covered all of the Mississippi River. And so that's one of the reasons why we'd go back upstream. Okay, so from here we went to my nephew Kyle's house down in this area, and we discovered that the jet ski trailer had a flat tire. Okay. Both tires had quite a bit of dry rot. And so we pumped that tire up, and it immediately started leaking out air from a dry rot spot. Not good. Got to replace the tire. Then we went back to Deb's. We went and grabbed Amy's tablet so that she could work on her map some more. Then we went to Walmart store number 1. They did not have any pre-assembled tire on wheel combinations for jet ski trailers. They had a 4-bolt rim, but not a 5-bolt wheel, which is what the trailer needed. Okay, you don't have it. Let's try Walmart number 2. Went down to here. They said they had it, but they didn't. So we were 3 miles from Friendly Power Sports Service, who I had reached out to from my sandbar up here way back on Monday morning. Truly friendly. Mike was super cool dude. Talked to them. No, they don't have the tire that we needed, but if we go get a tire, we already had the old wheel with us. If we got a new tire, they would mount it. So we went down to Walmart, picked up a new tire, went back to Friendly, and they mounted the tire for us in 10 minutes and didn't charge us. Thank you, Mike. So then from there, we went back to the ski at my nephew's house, and that's when we fixed the left side tire. Great, it's fixed. We went over to the right side, jacked it up, and we knew that the hub was giving us fits. We knew there was a problem. It was making some noises, and it was warm to the touch when we had drove it last time. So we wanted to inspect it. We jacked it up, and sure enough, there was a lot of play in that wheel. The hub was completely shot. How much longer would it last? Maybe it would last 1 mile, maybe 2, not much more. It was shot. Okay, any plans of us trying to get back on the water that night, that's out the door. We went back to Deb's and grabbed Deb. We went to a restaurant and called it a day. That was the chaos of Tuesday, June 30th. So don't get me wrong, we are very appreciative of certainly our angel and how he was able to round up a single place trailer for us. And hey, when you borrow equipment, that's just kind of the price of rent, is that sometimes you need to do a little bit of repair work. That's fine. So again, just a huge thank you. I think it was our angel, David, his hairdresser's coworker who had the trailer. So that's networking, right? Let's move on into the next day, Wednesday, July 1st. How about some more chaos? Maybe 400 level? All right, so for Wednesday the 1st, we went from my sister's house, we went down to Kyle's house and got to the ski about 7:45. All right, today is Wednesday, July 4th, and we start our day with trying to repair the borrowed trailer that was saved us from the river. So we're very fortunate to that somebody lent us their trailer, and but as it happens, the trailer needs a little work, and so the bearing on one of the wheels was pretty loose and grinding. So we decided that before we risk any chance of the wheel falling off and the ski dropping to the ground, that we best get that repaired. We already replaced a tire. There was some rot on the tire, and it was going flat, so we replaced that. We'll probably do the same on this side too, but we got to get this bearing off. And so Amy's in her world, but without her tools. So we'll get there. So the ski is currently at my nephew's house, Kyle and Kendall, with their 8-month-old Gracie. So we're very grateful. It's even covered, which is nice, working in the shade, especially if it gets to be later or rainy. But thank you. So we're using his tools, and luckily he's got some good set of tools that we can use. So, and this is why it was a good idea. All the bearings are busted and they're falling out, and definitely a good idea to do what we did. Let's go get this thing fixed. So we made the decision at that point, we're going to replace the whole hub assembly. The bearings were shot. And so we also decided we're going to replace the tire as well, because it had about the same amount of dry rot as the other tire. So remove the hub there right at Kyle's place. Thanks for Kyle for letting us use your tools. Pulled the bearings out, and oh boy, they were disintegrated. Great decision to just remove them. So then we drove to Walmart and we got a second tire, and then we drove to the trailer store, which is way up here, and let's see, it was Mike Gerald's at one point, trailer store, which is really coincidental because that's my first and middle names, Michael Gerald. Anyway, weird coincidence. Went there. They had the hub. It was all in pieces. It was not a pre-assembled unit, so Amy had to pack bearings later. Anyway, picked that up. It would be a 3-hour wait for them to mount the tire onto the rim that we had for the second replacement tire. Nope, not going to wait 3 hours. So we drove on down to Friendly's, and where Mike had mounted the first tire on the wheel, and he did the second tire for us again, no charge, and in a matter of 10 minutes. He was so cool about it. He's like, man, what you guys are doing is so cool. Anything I can do to help. Thank you, Mike, again for that. All right, so now we went back from there. We went back to Deb's, and because there was a little bit of extra time in there, it's like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get out onto the river yet today. So we went back to Deb's and we did a reset. So while we were at Deb's, Amy and I went through numerous scenarios of how to get the skis back in the water. We had an appointment, a kind of a quasi-private tour of the LSU, Center for River Studies, I believe it's called. Very cool tour. I had done it back in October. Amy was very interested in it, so we really wanted to keep that. That was kind of an anchor point. And the trailer needed to be returned by Friday. So we're trying to figure out all these things. And there's no marinas, nowhere to put the skis in the water in Baton Rouge and keep them there. So it's either go camp on a sandbar north of Baton Rouge where there's sand, or get the skis down to New Orleans, make a day run. So leaving on Wednesday was still a possibility of putting the skis in the water and even running all the way to New Orleans at some point. But that's a big long run. That's 160-ish miles to get from Baton Rouge to New Orleans by water. So as Amy and I were debating everything, we came to the decision we are going to stay at Debbie's through Friday morning. And Friday morning would be the launch day of when we're going to put both skis back in the water, run up to where my ski got taken out, 35 miles north, and then run all the way down to New Orleans. So after we made those decisions, we called all the places that we needed reservations: Venice, New Orleans, and even some things downstream of that where we're kind of lining up where we're going to stay next. Exhausting. After that, we went from Deb's house back to Kyle's house, and we put the new hub on, packed the bearings with grease, etc., put the new tire on. Woohoo! Something that went smooth, and that was great. And so as we were doing that, Amy started making the decision that she is going to preemptively and preventively change out the same part that had corroded on my ski and do the same thing to her ski. So she started pulling her pump off her machine there at Kyle's, and made a call into Green Hulk, which is down in Morgan City, about an hour and a half south of Baton Rouge, a little longer. She had made an appointment with them that the next day, which would be Thursday, she was going to arrive at 7 a.m., an hour and a half from Baton Rouge, and they would do the similar kind of maintenance that they did to her pump that I had done to mine. So she pulled the pump. Then from there, we went to go buy some groceries and went back to Deb's, and we had a nice steak dinner. That takes us to Thursday, July 2nd, and sure enough, Amy gets up at the wee hours of the morning, leaves the house at 5:15, runs down to Morgan City. They fix, or it was not in need of repair, but they changed out the part anyway. Did it in 45 minutes. Amy drove back to Baton Rouge, changed that, got all of her put together, reinstalled that back on the ski, and we made it to our tour of the river studies. Very cool tour. Here, I'll throw a video in of that. We are at the LSU Center for River Studies, downtown Baton Rouge, and this exhibit is something I visited back in October, but it is just phenomenal. There are all kinds of projectors up on the ceiling, essentially 3 basketball courts. That's how much size there is, and they project down, and all kinds of modeling with water and sediment flowing through it of the Mississippi River and its delta. This is mile 0 right down there. It's really cool. Let's go check it out.
Normally, I say normally, when the students are doing an active experiment, you would see some black material in the river's bed, you would see water on the model's surface. And the black material in the river's bed is actually small black plastic particles engineered to behave the way sediment does in the river. Southwest Pass, this longest channel you see here, one of the busiest shipping channels in the world. This is where the water is. So we're going to have a sports analogy. It's as big as 2 basketball courts sitting side by side. Both of them
Okay, 2.
And when the students are actively running an experiment, there is a pump near where
place like nowhere else. It's a landscape woven together by waterways running through swamp, marsh, and prairie. A rich natural habitat for fish and fowl, prehistoric reptiles, and land dwellers of every stripe. From the Chenier Plain in the west to the Mississippi River Delta, it's a natural wonder made even more wondrous by the local language, culture, and tradition of its people. This is the story of our coast, how it came to be, what we face today, and where we go from here.
And then from there, we went and returned the rental car. Went out to eat there with Kevin. Thanks for buying dinner or lunch there, Kevin. And then got done with a tour there of the river studies. That was excellent as always. And heading now to Pastime. I guess some dive bar that Kevin thought of and was close by. And I went and got a haircut, got some groceries, and went back to Deb's and had a nice evening at Deb's. And that, I believe, is 3 days of chaos and whirlwind. Will there be more?